If you're Saudi Arabia right now, you're likely pretty scared because you're about to lose a very unlikely ally. According to NBC on October 12th, 2020, under Donald Trump's administration for the past 4 years, America and Saudi Arabia have been closer than ever before, with President Trump even inviting Royal Prince Mohammed bin Salman to the White House multiple times and standing by their side no matter what. However, with an upcoming administration, that's about to change. So, today we must ask ourselves the question: how will U.S.-Saudi relations change under the Biden administration? And it'll become more harsh and a much colder relationship under Biden in 3 key ways. First, limiting our trade with Saudi Arabia as we focus on American energy independence. Second, having American-led Saudi condemnation. And lastly, ending the war in Yemen that's taken countless lives. First though, we must take a look at where our relationship started off. According to the United States State Department website on December 15th, 2020, this relationship started all the way back in 1940, when America found out that Saudi Arabia had plenty of oil. And since 1960, Saudi Arabia has been the 3rd largest producer in the world for American oil. Past American presidents have had to forgive any Saudi action they didn't like because that meant that we could keep getting oil from this supposed ally. However, that will likely not be the case under the Biden administration. While running, according to AP, on December 5th, 2020, the former vice president made the pledge to focus away and transition away from foreign oil and oil in general, focusing on American-led energy with a specialization in hydroelectric, wind, and solar energy. Not only for environmental reasons, but also because President Biden does not want to face unruly allies that he doesn't agree with, such as Saudi Arabia. In the upcoming years of this new administration, we will likely see trade in oil plummet between these 2 countries. And without that, that might dissolve the entire relationship between America and Saudi Arabia. Next though, we have to take a look at the fact that when we're not allies, we can finally condemn Saudi Arabia action, focusing mostly on the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. According to the BBC on December 5th, 2020, it's been 2 years since the death of Jamal Khashoggi, an American Washington Post journalist, and nothing has been done to try to find justice for him. Jamal Khashoggi was led to Saudi Arabia by their government, put in the embassy, horrifically tortured and killed, likely from the command of Royal Prince Salman. However, the Trump administration has been hiding these details for 2 years since, and has completely refused that Saudi Arabia had anything to do with it, while the rest of the intelligence community disagrees. And it might be getting worse, because according to the New York Times on December 22nd, 2020, in his final days of office, President Donald Trump is proposing pardoning Royal Prince Mohammed bin Salman to absolve him of any connection to the crime. However, because Biden won, that could all be changed. According to the Washington Post on December 7th, 2020, because Biden won, he's likely going to instruct his Justice Department to start an investigation into Saudi Arabia's actions in the assassination of Jamal Khashoggi. And if he finds enough evidence, he said that he will lead an international court and try to convict him of this crime. America is looking under the Biden administration to say to the rest of the countries in the world that they must respect the freedom of the press and freedom of speech to call themselves a democracy. And furthermore, he is going to signal to the rest of the world that you cannot kill an American journalist in your own country and get away with it while being your ally. Lastly though, we have to take a look at America ending support for Saudi Arabia in the case of the war in Yemen. Now, if you did not know about this war, according to Reuters on October 7th, 2020, they said that this war has been going on for over 7 years at this point. It's a proxy war between Iran and Saudi Arabia that's taking place in the countries of Yemen. They're trying to dictate who is the biggest superpower in the Middle East at this point. While this is all good for them, it's not good for the citizens of Yemen. According to the Reuters article, they said that over 100,000 people have been killed so far, and thousands more have been displaced. The United Nations called it the worst humanitarian disaster they've ever seen, with thousands hungry and homeless and living in poverty. And President-elect Joe Biden made a promise to Yemeni Americans to fix it. According to national security think tank, the Atlantic Council, they said that President-elect Biden has promised to end support for Saudi Arabia in this war, and furthermore, go even farther than that by instructing the United Nations Security Council to start looking into Saudi Arabia's action and to send peacekeeping forces in the area. If President-elect Biden truly wants to do good with Saudi Arabia, they must realize that they are not an ally that we can have anymore. They are a humanitarian disaster and have gone against the crimes of humanity. And so best of all, to get rid of our alliance and to end our support for them in this war. When faced with today's question, how will U.S. and Saudi relations change under the Biden administration? It is clear to see that those relations will suddenly dissolve, and America will not rely on Saudi Arabia as much anymore, in 3 key ways. First, transitioning away from their oil supply and looking towards American energy. Second, condemning Saudi Arabia for killing an American journalist and condemning them for their lack of civil rights and freedom of speech in their country. And lastly, ending support for Saudi Arabia in the war in Yemen and sending peacekeeping forces in there to help make sure the war is dutifully ended. Saudi Arabia should be scared. They have committed heinous crimes that go against the very laws of humanity. And while these things may have slid under the Trump administration radar, at least for the 4 next years, they won't.